Respected man who comes up with a profound statement. He's also known for something else musically. He's known for a technique he invented called spanking the baby. This song is about his hometown in Aberdeen, Mississippi. And it's called Aberdeen Blues.
(1988), Navarre Branch Library. Yep, that was a clip from the night Robert Jones brought the blues to Monroe County, Michigan. Fun fact, that little kid you can hear in the background, Joe Bonamassa. That was a joke. Or was it? I'm Bill Reiser from the Monroe County Library System, and welcome to the Big Gig 2021. I have a couple of quick pre-flight announcements before the concert takes off. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks to all of you who checked out any or all of the events in this peculiar and hopefully one-time virtual year of the Black History Month Blues Series. Mega thanks to our 2021 Blues Coalition of Community Partners, Monroe County Community College, DTE Foundation, Friends of Carleton, Friends of Dorsch, Friends of Ellis, and Friends of Ida. This project is supported by Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs. Normally, I'd single out and thank a bunch of essential Blues Series workers and volunteers and friends in the printed program handed out at the Big Gig, but pandemic. So we've posted that on the Monroe County Library System's Blues Series page. I encourage you to check that out. It really does take a virtual and socially distanced village. I also want to announce that we're leaving the Big Gig up and online for a week after the big Saturday night premiere to give more folks a chance to see it, or for you to watch it again, or to catch a portion you missed. Tonight's concert is dedicated to Mr. Ben Wiley Payton, a master of the Delta Blues, a sweet, sweet guy, and a Blues Series family member we lost this past December. He only played here once in 2011. It was a duo show with Reverend Jones at the Dorsch Library. And there is a clip on YouTube of that event if you want to check that out, and you should. With that, I'm going to thank you again for your support of the Big Gig and the Blues Series tonight, this month, and if applicable, for all or part of the past 34 years. And yes, we are already dreaming up next year's 35th anniversary party, because that's how we roll. Now I'd like to hand this off to a very special guest. He's one of the world's finest harmonica players, an NEA National Heritage Fellowship recipient, author of the excellent book Sweet Bitter Blues, and a key player in the history of the Black History Month Blues Series, Mr. Phil Wiggins.
Good evening, everybody. So sorry that I can't be here in person with you tonight due to this pandemic that we're all experiencing. I think I should continue my apology by saying sorry about my pandemic hairdo. It's not safe for me to get a haircut right now. So anyway, there's that. But I'm glad to be here in order just to give a shout out to my dear friend Robert Jones, who I've gotten to spend a lot of great time with, celebrating our music and our culture at places like the Augusta Heritage Workshop, and then later on at the Port Townsend Blues Week. We were able to spend some wonderful times there making music together and, like I say, celebrating our music and our culture and trying to impart a little bit of knowledge about our history and all that. And Robert, you have been an amazing part of that whole experience. And also just want to say how grateful I am to know you and your beautiful family and to have you in my life. And I look forward to when we can convene in person again and make music and let the celebration continue. I don't want to take up too much time, but I want to say one other thing that I will always be grateful for. And a lot of people don't know this, but I gave the opportunity to Robert to actually kick a door in one time. I have an aunt, or I should say I had an aunt that lived in Detroit well into her 90s. And at one point she was having all kinds of health issues and we couldn't get a hold of her on the phone. And I asked Robert to go over and bang on the front door. And if he couldn't get any answer, to please go around to the back door and kick it in and go in to see if she was okay. And which he did, and found her on the floor. She had been on the floor for maybe a couple of days. And Robert basically saved her life, and my family got to spend a few more good years with her because of Robert's actions. And so I will always be grateful for that. And I will just add that my sister Rabia, who wound up having to communicate with you, Robert, right after that, even in her brief communications, was aware of the incredible work that you do in your community that is above and beyond being a reverend, but just also being a great, caring human being and taking care of your family and your community. And I will always be grateful to you and look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon. Thank you, and let the celebration carry on.
Welcome to the Big Gig 2021, Monroe County's 34th annual Black History Month Blues Concert. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Promises to be a different kind of big gig in lots of ways. It's going to be much shorter, for one thing, and I know a bunch of you watching are probably watching in your jammies, which is okay, and perhaps a couple of you are going to have a cocktail or two, so cheers. I'd like to thank our hosts here at the Meyer Theater, Monroe County Community College, Tom, Casey, the crew, for letting us use the facility. We snuck in here under cover of darkness with a skeleton crew. We're all masked. We're all socially distant, except when we're up here singing. Other people are singing. So we're being as safe as possible. Tonight's event is one that I will cop to being long overdue. It's a salute to the man who's been the guiding light, the face, the voice, the conscience, the soul of the Black History Month Blues series since he started it all the way back in 1988. Now, one thing about Reverend Jones is that he's the kind of guy who would never spearhead his own salute, which in my book makes him even more qualified of a salute. So he was a little skeptical about this idea, but we wore him down. So tonight we've safely gathered some of his biggest fans, who all happen to be very talented musicians, and they're gonna play some music for and with Reverend Jones, and for you guys too, of course. I know you're here in the Meyer with us tonight in spirit, and I sure hope we're all back in here next year celebrating the 35th anniversary together. So do all the things, folks. We're going to get things rolling tonight. I'm going to welcome my friend, my former colleague, my blues brother from another mother, the creator of the Black History Month Blues series, Mr. Tim McGorry.
Robert first performed in Monroe in February 1988 at the Monroe County Library System Navarre Branch. At that time, I had started working for the library, and I was assisting the branch librarians with setting up programs for adults. Along with Jenny Hensley, who was the branch librarian at the Navarre Library, we wanted to offer a Black History Month program and thought that a blues concert might draw a cross-section of people from the community. I had been listening to Robert's Saturday morning radio show, Blues from the Lowlands, on Detroit's public radio station, WDET, and was drawn to both the music and the historical context that he would always provide. Through Monroe's radio legend, Don Gagne, who at the time was working with Robert at WDET, I was able to contact Robert, who graciously accepted my invitation to perform for free at the library's inaugural Black History Blues concert. That set up the stage for his introduction to Monroe and the formation of a loyal fan base that has been with him and the series ever since. Over the years, Robert quit his day job at WDET, became a full-time musician. He produced his Blues in Schools program and has performed for thousands of students throughout the country. He received the National Award of Educator of the Year from the prestigious Blues Foundation in Memphis. In 2018, he was awarded a Kresge Arts Fellowship from the Kresge Foundation. Along with his longtime musical sidekick, Matt Watroba, Robert started a music education nonprofit called Common Chords, with the mission of bringing communities together through American roots music. Currently, he's offering guitar lessons online through True Fire Company and performing virtual concerts on his own and with Matt. All this while raising a family that now includes grandkids and ministering a church. We acknowledge his many talents, pay tribute to him tonight for all he's done for Monroe's Black History Month Blues series. Now, here he is for the 34th edition of the series, Reverend Robert Jones.
Well, thank you, Tim. It's a great joy to come down to Monroe. And this time, as Bill said, it's quite different. Usually we're playing before a packed and enthusiastic house. And we know that you're still enthusiastic, you're just in your house. So we thank God for this opportunity to come together and play and acknowledge this music. It occurs to me that the first commercial blues recording was made by a woman named Mamie Smith in 1920. So that means we've been playing this music for just about 100 years. And it was being played in hamlets and small towns even before that. And then in 1924, a guy by the name of Blind Lemon Jefferson became the first official blues guitar star. He had two great talents. One was wrestling, and the other was playing this guitar. And he had songs like this one called One Dime Blues. I'm broke and I ain't got a dime, Lord, I'm broke and I ain't got a dime. I'm broke and I ain't got a dime. Everybody has hard luck sometime. I was standing on East Carroll Street one day, Lord, I was standing on East Carroll Street one day. I was standing on East Carroll Street one day. One dime is all I had. Say, Mama, don't you treat your daughter mean, Lord, Mama, don't you treat your daughter mean. Mama, don't you treat your daughter mean. You're the meanest woman a man most ever seen. Don't you wish your friends was bad like Jesse Jane? Lord, don't you wish your friends was bad like Jesse Jane? Don't you wish your friends was bad like Jesse James? Take 26 Shooters Highway, some passenger train. Dime was all I had, Lord, 1 thin dime was all I had. One thin dime was all I had, left me cool in hand. I bought the morning news, I bought the morning news, I bought the morning news, and I bought a cigar too. The high cost of inflation. But then you think about that music didn't come out of Mississippi or it didn't come out of Chicago. It came out of Texas. And there was some great Texas blues because almost anywhere that you had a black population of folks who were picking cotton or folks who were tending cattle, you had the blues. Out of Houston and Centerville, Texas, you had a gentleman by the name of Sam Lightning Hopkins. And again, the themes of the blues were starting to be formed. The blues were about troubles and heartache and hopes deferred and dreams denied. And sometimes they were singing about the penal system, which caused a man to sing the penitentiary blues. Oh, big brazzles, here I come. I'm doing time in a penitentiary when it ain't a thing that I have done. Lord, you should have been on the Brazos back down in 1910. Should have been on the Brazos back down in 1910. But Russell drove those pretty women just like he did them ugly men. Boss said, come here. Yeah, you know, overseer said, run. Well, you know, boss said, come. Yeah, you know, that overseer said, run. You know, if I had my special, Lord, I wouldn't do either one. Well, you know, my mama called me. I answer, ma'am. Say, are you tired of working? I said, yes, I am. My daddy called me. I answer, sir. Say, if you're tired of working, what you gonna stay there for? You know, I just can't hear my. Ain't it hard when you're doing time for someone else? So we've been playing this blues for over 100 years. And one of the things that we discover is that when we move around different regions of the country, we start to see different styles emerge. In fact, I'm going to call my friend Madcap Ruth up on the stage to join me for some classic Mississippi Delta blues in the person of one Eddie Son House Jr.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, good to see you, old friend.
Good to see you, too.
All right. So I mentioned Son House, Eddie James House, who's buried in Detroit, Michigan, and is as much a part of Detroit blues lore as he is Mississippi blues lore. But the thing that we love about Son House is he's given us rhythms that we're still using to this day. He used to say there ain't but one kind of blues, the B-L-U-E-S blues. That's the kind of blues that exists between male and female. Everything else is monkey junk. Then he'd hit those notes like... I got a letter this morning, how do you think it read? Said, hurry, hurry, gal, your love is dead. Got a letter this morning, oh Lord, are you ready, ready? He said, hurry, hurry, cause the gal you love is dead. You know I packed up my suitcase, took off down the road. When I got there, she was laying on the cooling board. I packed my suitcase, Lord, I took off down the road. You know when I got there, she was laying on the cooling board. Well, it seemed like 10,000 people were standing round the burying ground. Didn't know how much I loved her till they began to let her down. I said, seemed like 10,000 standing round the burying ground. Didn't know how much I loved that woman, oh, till they began to let my baby down. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Mad Cat. Go ahead, do another one, man. Seemed like 10,000 was standing round the burying ground. You know how much I loved her till they began to let my baby down. Seemed like 10,000 standing round the burying ground. I know how much I loved her till they began to let her down. Hush. Thought I heard her call my name. Didn't call so loud, so nice and plain. Thought I heard her call my name. And call so loud, but so doggone nice and plain. Oh, take it again, Matt Cat. This morning, about the break of day, hugging on a pillow where she used to lay. You know, I woke up this morning, yeah, about the break of day. I was hugging on a pillow where my baby used to lay. Matt Cat Ruth, ladies and gentlemen. Well, all right now. See, that's that old Delta blues, and it would end up giving birth to Chicago blues and a sense to rock and roll and even styles that come after that. So that's pretty good stuff. So, Matt Cat, you want to do one for yourself? Okay. All right.
Well, all right. I'd like to try a song for you called On the Road Again. Well, I ain't going down that big road by myself. Well, I ain't going down that big road by myself. If I can't carry you, babe, I'm gonna carry somebody else. I'm on the road again. Out on the road again. Well, the first time I rambled out in the rain and snow. Well, the first time I rambled out in the rain and snow. I didn't have nobody, didn't have no place to go. On the road again. Out on the road again. Well, my dear mama left me when I was quite young. Well, my dear mama left me when I was quite young. She said, Lord have mercy on my rambling son. On the road again. Out on the road again. Well, take a tip from me, baby, please don't you cry no more. Well, take a tip from me, baby, please don't you cry no more. 'Cause it's one of these mornings and it's down the road I'm going. On the road again. Out on the road again. Out on the road again.
That was the mighty Mad Cat Ruth, one of the finest harmonica players in the world, and a good friend of mine for over 30 years. Now I'm going to bring to the stage another friend of mine of over 30 years, and this is really my musical partner and my best friend, and he and I go into schools, go into prisons, go anywhere they ask us to go to talk about this music, this great American music. Ladies and gentlemen, Michigan's own Mr. Matt Watroba. Well, Matt,
Yes, sir.
we got together and worked out a CD. It only took us 29 years to do it, but we're pretty proud of it. And this is called Common Chords, which is also the name of our nonprofit. And the idea is that we went and found lots of examples of American music that is just amazing. Some of them are fairly complex, and some of them only have one chord. This is about as much fun as you can have with one chord. We channeled a great bass player by the name of Willie Dixon and a great piano player by the name of Memphis Slim.
Only one problem.
Yeah.
I don't play piano.
And I don't play bass.
So we got our own version of this song.
That's it. But it's the most fun you can have with one chord.
And it's a song that goes back centuries, actually. The idea of the song was about a horse race that happened in Ireland in the 1700s. And like folk music, like people's music, like roots music, it has changed and morphed over the last couple of centuries. And I love this version of it, though.
Let's go.
You're going to recognize the horse, probably. Was a big day in Dallas. Oh, I wish I was there. Spend my last $100 on that iron gray mare. See her travel all day long, long, long. See her travel all day long, all day long. Well, I don't mind horse racing if it wasn't for my wife. Oh, Stewball, he may stumble and away with my life. Wife and baby left behind, wife and baby left behind, left behind. Now old Stewball, he was a black horse, just as slick as a mole. He had a ring round his foreshoulder, and it shined like gold, like gold, like gold. He had a ring round his foreshoulder, and it shined like gold, like gold. Oh, Stewball, he was a racehorse, but the poor horse, he was blind. He ran so fast down in Texas, he left his shadow behind. Well, that's fast.
That's fast. Behind, behind, left his shadow behind, behind. Oh, Stewball was a racehorse, and old Molly, she was too. Oh, Molly, she did stumble, and old Stewball, he just flew around the racetrack all day long, 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 round the racetrack all day long, all day long, all day long, all day long. As old Stewball. Well, you know, one of the things that's great about this music is part of our American tradition. And you can write new songs in the tradition. So Matt wrote a song back in 2020 that had to do with the fact that some of us just don't get along. And I love this song.
Thanks, man. Let me just first of all say before I sing this song what an honor and a privilege it's been to spend the last 33 years in the car with this guy traveling around the country. He has absolutely and completely blessed my life, and
I think this tribute is a great thing. I know this is not something Robert would bring on himself, but boy, you are loved in this community, my friend. It starts right here. Yeah, this is a song I wrote after I realized that half of my Facebook friends unfriended the other half of my Facebook friends. And I thought maybe we need a song about that.
And you know, this is living proof that you don't have to be exactly alike to love each other.
That's right. Could you love me if I don't look like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't look like you? Could you love me if I don't think like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't think like you? This life's a burning candle, and it would be a shame if we ignored the difference between the smoke and the flame. Could you love me if I don't pray like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I see myself in you? Could you love me if I don't pray like you? This moment is a miracle, so why not find a way to be here and be grateful that we share another day? Could you love me if I don't love like you? Is it deeper? Is it stronger? Something hidden, something true. If I stare a little longer, will I find myself in you? Could you love me if I don't look like you?
Good question.
Well, the roots of American music run deep, and when Robert and I spend time in schools and other institutions teaching about this music, we start usually in the 18th or 19th, in the 19th century for sure. But very quickly after, the inventions of things like radio and phonographs, when music all of a sudden became something that wasn't just regional but could be heard all over the place, a strange thing started to happen. In fact, our whole performance, I would say, our whole nonprofit is based on the idea that if it wasn't for the sharing of this music between different cultures in our country, we wouldn't have American music as we know it. So, sometimes people will ask us, do you do one of those diversity tolerance programs? And I'm like, no, it's more like I tolerate back pain. I celebrate diversity, because if it wasn't for that sharing of music, well, I won't talk about it. Let's demonstrate it.
That's right. That's part of the idea behind the Monroe County Library system doing this thing in the first place, is to let people know that blues are really at the root of America's music. You think about blues consists basically of 3 chords and of 5 notes. And those 5 notes are the major pentatonic scale or the minor pentatonic scale, depending upon whether you're soloing or whether you're boogie-woogieing. So let's say if you're boogie-woogieing, you're like those piano players in the Deep South who used to play this with one hand and this with the other.
Won't you hand me down my jumper? Won't you iron my overalls? Won't you hand me down my jumper? Won't you iron my overalls? Well, I'm about to catch a train, wouldn't they call a cannonball? And that was hot stuff in the 20s. But by the time the 1930s rolled around, America was in a Great Depression. And a lot of those boogie-woogie piano players started looking for work in black churches. And all of a sudden, black church music started sounding suspiciously like boogie-woogie, much to the chagrin of the pastor. But those piano players weren't playing church boogie-woogie. They were playing something called gospel. Well, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Well, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Lord, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, Lord, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. But the secret is, those are the same 3 chords and the same 5 notes. Let's move to 1935. Get a young man by the name of Bill Monroe, who's come up with a new style of country music called bluegrass. Frankly, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most un-Negro kind of music you can imagine. 5 white guys standing around wearing white suits and cowboy hats and yelling, "Yee-haw!" Not my idea of heaven. But blues is in bluegrass, in part because of a black man by the name of Arnold Schultz, who gave Bill Monroe some early guitar lessons and mandolin lessons, and in part because of the rhythm guitar player that Bill hired. He hired a guy by the name of Lester Flatt. And whenever they would play those fast bluegrass tunes, Lester would play something called the G-run. Would you demonstrate the G-run?
Absolutely. At the end of every one of those phrases in bluegrass music, they tip their hat, look up, and go.
That's nice. Would you do that again? That's nice. Now, that's just the boogie-woogie, played with a flat pick. But you end up with songs like, I'm going down the road feeling bad, Lord, I'm going down the road feeling bad. I'm going down the road feeling bad, Lord, Lord, and I ain't gonna be treated this way. Yeehaw! Same 3 chords, same 5 notes. Let's move up to 1948. Got a young man by the name of Ray Charles, not to be confused with Jamie Foxx. And Ray Charles runs out of music about 60 years ago and says to the band, "That's all right, baby. Sing back to me what I sing to you." Just like they used to do it in church. And it comes out like this. Say, hey, hey, oh, oh, hey, hey, oh, oh, hey, hey, oh. Tell me what I say.
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 Say, Tell me what I say.
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 I say those are the same 3 chords and the same 5 notes, but now we call it R&B. Doesn't end there. Imagine it's about 1955 and you got a television, a big gigantic wooden box in the middle of your living room with a little tiny screen, and it only gets 3 channels.
What?
That's right. That means with only 3 channels, everybody's watching the same thing at the same time. It's Sunday night, and you're tuned to CBS, and you get a guy by the name of Ed Sullivan. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a really good show for you tonight. You're going to like this young man. He comes to us from Tupelo, Mississippi, by way of Memphis, Tennessee. He uses 3 chords and 5 notes, ladies and gentlemen, and Ed sticks his arm out, and the kid goes, 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you mess with my blue suede shoe. You can do anything, say off my blue suede shoes, yeah. Blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes, blue suede shoes, blue suede. You can do nothing, say off my blue suede shoes. Thank you very much. Now you can imagine, in the 1950s, the South is a segregated place. The United States is a segregated place. And there are black kids who want to be Elvis, and there are white kids who want to be Chuck Berry. And those kids are listening to music, and they don't care what color the musician is. And that sets the stage for the 60s, where 5 good-looking black kids from Detroit tour into the Deep South. And they got style, they got class, and they got Motown. They take those 5 notes and they slow them down and play with the rhythm. And when those kids in that segregated gymnasium, separated by a rope, when they hear those 5 notes, those kids tear down the rope and dance together because they're here. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Sing it with us. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl. Talking about my girl, my girl. Ooh.
Oh, that is my favorite part of the whole show.
And
right
you
there.
do it so well. So you might think, well, that's good, but that's still 50 years ago. What does that got to do with our music? Sometimes Matt and I have to convince a gymnasium full of little rowdy middle schoolers. Yeah, that they're still relevant, because you remember that song I did earlier with Mad Cat, the Death Letter Blues? Imagine Son House in the Delta singing that song to that riff. I got a letter this morning, how you ringing red? Said hurry, hurry, cause girl, your love is dead. Got a letter this morning, oh Lord, how you ringing red? Saying hurry, hurry, cause the girl your love is dead. But what would happen instead of 1928 if we did a 2021 remix? Instead of doing each verse twice, we do this verse once. And what if we sped the song up and faded the music out? In which case, the Death Letter Blues becomes this. I got a letter this morning, how do you ring in red? Said, hurry, hurry, cause the gal you love is dead. You know I packed up my suitcase, took off down the road. When I got there, she was laying out on the cooling board. I eased up close and I looked down in her face. I said, hey, you know I love you, but I just can't take your place. You know it seemed like 10,000 was standing around the funeral ground. I didn't know how much I loved her till I put my baby in the ground for my arms. And then I walked away and said, hey, you know I love you, have to see your judgment day. You know I woke up this morning, it was about to break a day, and I was hugging on a pillow where my baby used to lay. Went to church, bowed down, I tried to pray, but the blues come along and they blowed my spirit away. Woke up this morning about to break a day, and I was hugging on a pillow where my baby used to lay. I said, hush, I thought I heard her call me name. She didn't call so loud, but she called so plain. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Nothing like that Death Letter Blues remix. Well, people ask me if I play and sing in church, and I really don't. Church is for preaching, it's for teaching. I don't have to play and sing in church because God has blessed me with a whole family that can sing. And we're going to call them up to do a little blues-inspired gospel for you. Thank you, Matt Watroba. You know, blues had a lot of babies, rock and roll and R&B, among others, but one of the most important children that came out of the blues was something called gospel. In the 1930s, urban musicians and piano players like Georgia Tom Dorsey, who became, of course, better known as
the father of gospel, Thomas A. Dorsey, took the progressions that he had used in blues, like, I got a gal who's crazy about me, she's just as crazy as a gal can be, and changed them into songs like, Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. And before you know it, you had superstars like Mahalia Jackson and James Cleveland and others. And I've been blessed to have a family that is raised in the church. So when people ask me whether I do a lot of singing or playing in church, the answer is no, because I got my son, Robert Jones II, better known as RJ, his lovely wife, Sister Rosa Warner Jones, my lovely daughter, Arnesia Jones, and my lovely wife, Sister Bernice Jones. And they let me sing every once in a while. But tonight, I'm going to step back and let them, the family Jones, do their thing.
We're so grateful to be here this evening. So grateful to be celebrating our father and our husband and great man who is a great musician. And we're just excited to be here, sing a little bit this evening. We're going to do a couple more songs, and we're going to get out of your way.
'cause I know what's up there beyond the sky. And it's been a long time coming, but I know a change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother. I say, brother, can you help me, please? But he winds up knocking me down. Back down on my bended knees. There were times when I thought I couldn't last for long, but I know I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will. I know it will. Oh, yes it will. Brother with brother. Oh, yes it will. Sister with sister. Oh, yes it will. I know. Oh, yes it will. I know it will. Oh, yes it will. Oh, yes it will.
Before we get started with this song, I just want to say congratulations to my honey. We're so glad to be here with you this afternoon in this gospel part of this series. God has blessed you to be in our lives and blessed us to be in yours. So we thank God for you, and you. You fight on.
Oh, you fight on.
You fight on.
Oh, you fight on.
Keep your
Sword in your hand.
You fight
just want to thank the family, RJ, Rosa, Arnesia, Sister Bernice Jones, my good friend Matt Watroba, and the legendary Peter Mad Cat Ruth. On the organ, we have our church musician, and we couldn't do it without him, Brother Rodney Cunningham, a.k.a. Humble Duke. And on the drums, none other than Dwayne Hewins Jr. He is not his daddy.
Hey, Dad. So, I just wanted to let you know from the bottom of my heart that I love you so much. You are my first boyfriend, and you are just everything to me. I love being a daddy's girl, and you make it very easy to be one. And so I just want to dedicate this to you. I see it clear, my heart is here. We've got each other, let's take it from there. If I could, I'll love you for forever at a time. Oh, what we've been through, no one else knows. 'Cause all that matters is how far this goes. And it will go until it starts again. Oh, you and me are built like armor. Nothing can stop love from loving on us. And I'm not asking for much, just a couple of forevers, a couple of forevers. I'm the only one, you're the only one, together till never. Oh, I'm talking about forever, just a couple of forevers. I'm the only one, you're the only one, together till never. It can get hard, then it gets rough. It can get crazy, but not for us. 'Cause we gotta struggle just to stay above. Oh, you and me are built like armor. Nothing can stop love from loving on us. And I'm not asking for much, just a couple of forevers, a couple of forevers. I'm the only one, you're the only one, together till never. Oh, I'm talking about forever,
Surprise. Hey. Wow. I just want to thank all of my crew, my family, my friends for coming and really having a great time in the midst of the pandemic. And I want to thank all of you who might be listening or watching, those folks in Monroe and in the metropolitan Detroit area. I am unapologetically a Detroiter. And I learned this blues in Detroit, sitting down by my grandmother as we listened to the stereo. And so I have a song, this is sort of my love song for Detroit. This old house was built on Trumbull Street back in 1910 when the whole world worked for Henry Ford. He was the poor man's friend. Detroit money built it, but it outlived the fame of that city that put the world on wheels and gave Motown its name. But when you come from Detroit, you have to know, my friend, that you cannot surrender and you cannot give in. And even when you're broken and you're almost at the end, know that if you save the pieces, you will rise again. Milton Smith, he lived in this old house for almost 60 years. And it had its share of singing, and it had its share of tears. Through the Coolies and Hernandezes, time would take its toll. 2012, they took her down, 102 years old. But when you come from Detroit, you have to know, my friend, that you cannot surrender, Lord, and you dare not give in. And even when you're broken and you're almost at the end, know that if you save the pieces, you will rise again. I'm just a Detroit storyteller, but I travel near and far. And a Detroit storyteller wants to play Detroit guitar. So I met a builder named Zimnicki, a man of awesome skills. Arch tops, flat tops, ukuleles, ain't nothing he can't build. He says, I got something I'd like to show you, and I think it's kinda sweet. See, I built this from this old house that used to stand on Trumbull Street. I used maple from the floorboard and walnut from the shelves. And this top is from a ceiling joist I cut and cleaned myself. Now I play a Detroit guitar made of 100-year-old wood. And I got to tell you, she sings mighty good. 'Cause when you come from Detroit, you have to know, my friend, that you cannot surrender, Lord, and you dare not give in. And even when you're broken and you're almost at the end, know that if you save the pieces, you will sing again. Know that if you save the pieces, you will sing again. This old guitar that I play is actually a new guitar, and the stripes are those maple floorboards from that house that was built and once stood in Detroit. And it gives me great joy to know that no matter where I'm playing, if I'm playing this guitar, I'm always playing Detroit. It's my hometown. Monroe is my second hometown. Good Lord willing, and God bless us, we'll be able to have this concert again in person to screaming crowds. But in the meantime, enjoy your living room, and we will rise again. God bless. Good night.